This is Valley View News.
Initial waves are now passing through Glendale.
The shakeout drill prepares Californians for a major earthquake, what's often called the big one.
I don't think that's very fair.
Fitness trainers will soon have to pay permit fees to run classes in Santa Monica parks.
That's hit well.
In baseball, the Red Sox and Cardinals are in the World Series.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Stephanie Marroquin.
And I'm Ryan Music.
Just weeks after the Obamacare health insurance exchanges opened, many complaints are rolling in. The following complaints come from readers of CNN Money. Some people say the #1 problem is logging into healthcare.gov website. The website also deletes completed forms that have been submitted for review online. People are also saying that the information or the plan they signed up for is incorrect. Another complaint mentions that the health insurance is more expensive than a previously monthly plan. Employers are blaming Obamacare on their need to raise premiums for their employees. They say it's because they are forced to change health insurance plans.
Southern Californians may not be ready for the next large earthquake, also known as the big one. But public officials have started to express concerns on making buildings safer in a strong earthquake. Officials have come up with a plan to identify buildings that are at risk and upgrade them. A former director of emergency services in Los Angeles said schools would be the safest spots when an earthquake hits. Newer schools have been designed to better withstand shaking.
California has always been earthquake country. People are used to small magnitude quakes that roll through from time to time. But are people prepared for the next big quake? Nanor Khoury has the story.
Initial waves are now passing through Glendale, Burbank. They'll be here in a few seconds.
Drop, cover, and hold on. Students at Cal State Northridge joined millions of people in California and the U.S. to participate in the 6th annual earthquake drill. Geology professor Doug Huell says it's never too late to be prepared.
People need to have a supply of food and water for at least 3 days, if not 7 days. People need to have basic first aid kits and know to drop, cover, and hold on when strong shaking occurs.
The shakeout is designed to raise awareness and help people get prepared for the next major earthquake. CSUN graduate student Ian DeJurley oversaw the medic tent to inform people about common injuries that they can sustain from an earthquake.
We're making people aware of how to determine if someone's unconscious or maybe not breathing. So that's something we can train people to do to just help people. So if they encounter someone who's unconscious and then they see an emergency responder, they can communicate, yeah, we have an unconscious person over here. That's something that anybody can do.
This is the 4th year CSUN has participated in the earthquake shakeout drill to better prepare students on what to do when a major earthquake hits. In 1994, CSUN sustained extensive damage to its buildings in the Northridge earthquake.
There were demonstrations that showed how the intense shaking from an earthquake can affect roads and underground pipelines.
This would happen much faster in the real world, okay?
Remember to move away from display shelves with loose objects that can fall to the ground. These buildings were the result of the 6.7 magnitude Northridge quake in 1994. Students from the geology department were on hand to answer questions and hand out pamphlets on disaster preparedness.
Yeah, we learned a lot, like also to have a emergency kit in your car. That's also important because you never know when the earthquake's going to hit, so you have to be prepared at all times.
The goal of the drill was also to remind people to not panic when an earthquake hits without warning. In Northridge, I'm Nanor Khoury, Valley View News.
The number of people in the U.S. who call themselves multiracial is growing rapidly. Experts who've studied this say that multiracial group can potentially become the majority one. Naomi Ogaldez has more on the story.
Wow. This is the Rogers family. Scott and Lena have an interracial marriage. They have 2 racially mixed kids named Courtney and Josh. But they are not the only ones that have different family backgrounds.
My mom is Salvadorian and my dad is black.
I'm half Italian and my mom was born in Argentina.
I am half Mexican and half German.
I am half white, a quarter black, and a quarter Fijian.
Studies say the mixed race population is growing fast and can potentially become the majority one day. In the 2000 U.S. Census, 6.8 million people said they were multiracial. That number has increased by 32% in the past 10 years. A 2010 Pew Research study says 1 in every 7 new marriages are interracial. Cal State Northridge sociology lecturer Dr. Christiane Khoury says one reason of this increase is caused by the minority population's growth in the United States.
We have a lot more people of color living in the United States. And, the more people you have of one race, the more likely they are to mix.
Racial categories are starting to break down. In Los Angeles, the demographics has changed within the past 50 years. In the 1960s, whites made up 80% and minorities made up 20%. But now, the minority population has grown drastically. Hispanics now make up 48%, Blacks make up 9%, and Asians make up 14%, but that does not include everyone else. Another reason is because people are becoming more tolerant throughout generations. Lena's family wasn't accepting of Scott when they first found out about their relationship because she was marrying outside her race and religion.
Basically, I was disowned, and till this day, I still don't speak to the majority of my family.
Despite her family's disapproval, Lena and Scott approve of their kids dating someone from a different race.
I'm accepting of them marrying whomever they choose, no matter what country they're from.
For their daughter Courtney, this is a good thing.
Yes, I will date outside my race.
In Los Angeles, I'm Naomi Ogaldis for Valley View News.
Last week, Valley View News reporter Brenda Garcia spoke with protesters who have been critical of Planned Parenthood in Palmdale. This week, Brenda spoke with nonprofit organization to see what they have to say.
Planned Parenthood opened up about a year ago, and there has already been significant controversy. But Planned Parenthood Director of Public Affairs, Serena Joselle, says abortions should not be controversial.
I'm not sure, we're very fortunate. Most people feel very positively towards Planned Parenthood. 1 in 5 women has been a Planned Parenthood patient at some point in her life, and what we find is that the public overwhelmingly supports women's access to the care they need to plan healthy pregnancies and wait until they're ready to become a parent.
Same-sex couples in New Jersey have been taking their marriage vows. The state recently legalized same-sex marriage since 2007. New Jersey has recognized civil unions between same-sex couples, but it wasn't until later that the New Jersey Supreme Court ruled that the state must allow all same-sex couples to have legal rights and benefits of marriage. Other states that only offer civil unions but no marriage for gay couples include Hawaii, Illinois, and Colorado. Same-sex marriage is now legal in 14 states. It is banned in all other states except for New Mexico, where no laws ban or allow same-sex marriage.
The San Francisco transit strike has commuters facing gridlock as the strike entered its 4th day. Bay Area commuters started the work week with the traffic at a standstill on many roads and long lines for buses and ferries. The line for charter buses running out of one BART station was at least 100 people deep. Officials have said that the two sides generally agreed on economic issues, but came to a deadlock over work rules. Those rules include the length of workday and when overtime pay kicks in. BART presented what is called its last and final offer to its unions a week ago, but it is open to restart negotiations.
A Bay Area rapid transit train struck and killed 2 workers on a section of track northeast of San Francisco. The 4-car train was on a routine maintenance run with an experienced operator at the controls. At the time of the incident, it was being run in automatic mode under computer control. The employees were making track inspections near the Walnut Creek station when they were hit. One was an employee and the other was a contractor. Their names were not immediately released.
A CNN poll shows that Speaker of the House John Boehner is unpopular. 54% of the people said it is bad that GOP controls the House. 38% said it's good the GOP controls the House. Boehner admits his party lost support in the way it handled the government shutdown and budget battle.
An activist group in California is attempting to repeal the new transgender law. The bill requires public schools to allow transgender students to use bathrooms that match their gender identity. Transgender students would also be allowed to participate on any sports teams. The transgender law was signed by Governor Brown and scheduled to take effect January 1st. The group has collected almost 500,000 signatures so far and hopes to put the issue up for a vote. At Cal State Northridge, people shared their views on the new transgender law. One parent says children in K through 12 grades are too young to understand the issue. Others say transgender children should have the right to express themselves, while some say the law will complicate transgender issues.
My kid is in kindergarten, and I don't expect a 5-year-old to understand that. And if this bill passes, it's going to force a lot of kids to be confused. As a parent, I have a lot to deal with anyways. I'm not sure how I'm going to explain it to my kid that, a girl comes to your bathroom dressed as a boy, but she's not really a boy, she's a girl. And kids have questions. It's not like they're just going to be okay with anything.
I believe that, if you're a male, you're male, and you're female, you're female, and at least as far as restrooms are concerned, that should be separate, and we should keep it that way.
I think that transgender kids should be able to go through whichever restroom they feel comfortable with or play whichever sports they feel comfortable with.
I feel that the bill is a good idea, but my only concern would be for the safety of the children, and I feel that that would be the only reason to have it repealed, is to maybe think of a better way to have them not be integrated, because the bullying may be increased by the fact that they are going in the separate bathrooms. But as far as equality, definitely all for that, and I think that everybody should be allowed to express who they are and how they feel inside.
Authorities in New South Wales have declared a state of emergency because many brush fires have broken out. Over 60 fires are burning in the state, and 14 of them are out of control. Australian officials say the dry and windy conditions could create a possible mega fire. Conditions were so bad in one town that both residents and firefighters were forced to evacuate. The state of emergency gives authorities the right to cut off public water use and divert it to firefighting. New South Wales is Australia's most populous state, and officials say the fire has burned an area larger than New York City.
6 people are dead and at least 32 others have been injured after a bomb exploded on a bus in Volgograd, Russia. Of the 32 that were injured, 8 were in critical condition on Monday evening. Investigators say they think a female suicide bomber caused the explosion. They believe the woman was from the Republic of Dagestan, a region of Russia where Islamic militants have been fighting against the Russian military. The St. Louis Cardinals are going to the World Series again. Plus, after 7 weeks, only one NFL team remains undefeated. Find out which one when we come back. So, Brenda, what's going on in sports?
Well, in football, the Chiefs are doing pretty well for themselves. The Kansas City Chiefs are the only undefeated NFL team after beating the Houston Texans. The Chiefs stood at 7-0. They downed the Texans 17-16. The team leads NFL in sacks and did not disappoint, getting 5 sacks in the game. The final sack came with 1.5 minutes left in the game on the Texans' 2-yard line. The Chiefs are 2 games shy of their best start in franchise history, which was 9-0 in 2003. Their next 2 opponents are the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills. The Indianapolis Colts defeated the Denver Broncos 36-33 to give the Broncos their first loss of the season. This was Peyton Manning's first game back in Indianapolis after signing with the Broncos in 2012. Manning was drafted by Indianapolis as the #1 pick in 1998 and played 14 seasons with the Colts. Manning threw for 386 yards and 3 touchdowns in the loss. Colts second-year quarterback Andrew Luck had a stellar performance, throwing for 228 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. The loss snapped Denver's 17-game regular season winning streak. The Colts haven't lost back-to-back games since Luck became the starter last season. The New York Jets surprised the New England Patriots in a 30-27 overtime win. The Patriots dominated the first half with a 21-10 lead at the half. It was Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski's first game back this season, and he had 8 catches for 114 yards. But Patriots quarterback Tom Brady threw an interception that was run back for a touchdown, and Jets quarterback Geno Smith ran for a touchdown to give them the lead. Patriots kicker Steven Gostkowski forced the game into overtime with 2 field goals. But Jets kicker Nick Folk had a field goal 9 minutes into overtime to clinch the win. The Jets are now just 1 game behind the rival Patriots in the AFC East. The Boston Red Sox have won their 13th American League pennant and a trip to the World Series for the first time since 2007. The Detroit Tigers had a 2-1 lead, but Boston loaded the bases on a double walk and error. Shane Victorino came to the plate and fell behind the count 0-2, but the next pitch was sent over Green Monster for Victorino's second postseason grand slam. Red Sox reliever Koji Uehara came in to get the last 3 outs. The Red Sox rushed out of the dugouts to celebrate the 5-2 victory. They faced the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. For the second time in 3 seasons, the St. Louis Cardinals will be advancing to the World Series. Their 19th National League pennant came in a 9-0 win over the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Cardinals scored 4 runs in the 3rd inning, advancing players on 2 big errors from Dodger rookie Yasiel Puig. The Cardinals followed up with another 5 runs in the 5th inning. Dodger pitcher Clayton Kershaw was pulled out of the game in the 5th inning for the first time all season. Cardinals rookie ace Michael Wacha won the game and also received MVP of the series. The Anaheim Ducks have taken their win streak to 7 games with 6-3 win over Dallas Stars. The Ducks were down 3-1 in the first period, but they switched to rookie goalie Frederik Andersen, who made his first NHL appearance. He was perfect with 24 saves on the night. The Ducks retook the lead with a minute to go in the second period of 2 goals from Khoury Perry, 1 from Cam Fowler and 1 from Andrew Cogliano. The Ducks were ahead by 3 goals with only 5 minutes left in the game. The win completed a perfect 5-0 homestand. The Ducks will now head out on the 8-game road trip. The Los Angeles Clippers will cover up the Lakers championship banners and retire jerseys during Clippers home games this season. The 2 teams both play their home games in the Staples Center. The Clippers revealed their new design inside the center during the preseason game, which had large posters of players like Chris Paul and Blake Griffin to cover the Lakers banners and jerseys. Lakers guard Nick Young says it's disrespectful what Doc Rivers and the Clippers are doing. But not every Laker agrees with Young. Guard and former 2-time MVP Steve Nash says he understands why the Clippers would want to make the arena feel like their own during home games. The Lakers and Clippers start the regular season when they go head-to-head on October 29th. And that does it for sports. Back to you.
Coming up in entertainment news, find out who are the most recent artists to cancel their tours. So Naomi, Grammy nominations are almost out. Who do you think will be nominated?
We saw a lot of great music this year, a lot of good performances and songs. So it's really hard to choose right now. The film 12 Years a Slave has brought in more money than expected. It made about $960,000 and it was shown in 19 theaters. Chiwetel Ejiofor stars as Solomon Northup, a free man who was cheated in a business deal. He lived as a slave for 12 years of his life. The historical drama will be shown in 100 theaters next weekend. Kanye West and Drake are among the latest artists to cancel major arena shows at the last minute. Drake canceled his show in Philadelphia an hour after its start time. The cancellation was the most recent problem for Drake's World You Like It tour in support of his latest album. The dates have been delayed after the former opening act, rapper Future, was booted for reportedly criticizing Drake's record. West's Yeezus tour at the Seattle Rogers Arena was canceled because of what were described as unfortunate circumstances for everyone involved. The set was complete with indoor mountain, Confederate-themed merchandise, and a depiction of Jesus Christ. West hasn't issued any statement clarifying the situation, but planned a makeup date at the same venue on Halloween. A violin that was used on board the Titanic has been sold for $1.7 million. Sources say it is the highest priced relic from the sunken ship. The violin was used by Wallace Hartley's band to calm passengers as the Titanic was sinking. The damaged violin was found in 2006 and was authenticated by an engraved silver plate. Many Titanic artifacts have been sold and brought in millions of dollars over the years. That's it for entertainment. Now back to you, Ryan.
Nearly 13% of the American population has a hearing impairment. Deaf Los Angeles residents celebrate and promote self-awareness. Valley View News reporter Christiana Kelly was downtown for more on the story.
Residents of Los Angeles came out to City Hall to celebrate the 15th annual Deaf Festival. Spring Street was shut down for the annual event. The festival was created for everybody to enjoy, including hearing, hard of hearing, and deaf individuals. Richard Ray has been helping to organize the Deaf Festival for 13 years. He said he's seen many positive results.
The best story I have, or that I've actually witnessed it, is that a lot of people have received jobs as models, actors, in different fields of interest because of this event.
The Department of Disability says there are over 400,000 people in the deaf community of Los Angeles. The festival was organized to help deaf people celebrate their uniqueness, help them find services, and to educate the community. Jaden's mom is deaf, and he and his little brother Stevie learned new signs today.
I learned no, yes.
What did you learn?
Home and iguana.
There was also a jump castle and face painting for the kids.
Deaf Festival is a place where people who are hearing and non-hearing can come and learn all kinds of things, like sign language. Brittany here is going to teach me a little bit. How do you say, "Are you deaf?"
Marco Gutierrez and Alex Vasquez said they really enjoyed the community aspect.
I came here to Deaf Festival just because I wanted to see what was here, and I think this was a really wonderful experience. I haven't really gone to many deaf events in a long time. I've seen Deaf West and different events, and I've learned about the social events, and this one's really great. There's a lot of deaf people that come here.
Daigle and his wife Kay produced a comic centering around their unique family. Kay was motivated to write the comic strip to help bring awareness to the realities of deaf life.
I thought, hey, why don't we start a comic strip about our life, our family?
Matt said he hopes the comic will one day turn into a sitcom.
There's a lot of ignorance there, and a lot of people that run the movie houses and the studios and television don't know about deaf people or disabled people in deaf culture, so we could provide an example. And I think that's one of the things that our comic strip does, is to dispel that ignorance and the myths that are out there, that we're funny, that we have families, we're people.
Over 60 exhibitors set up booths where people could find information, products, and services. There was also a deaf talent show. And there was a presentation by the Kids of Deaf Adults group. People could also check out custom cars, play in the shade, or just hang with friends. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Christiana Kelly, Valley View News.
Many people in Santa Monica like to attend outdoor fitness classes that go into the evening. The City Council voted to regulate the fitness classes because they operate in city parks. Personal trainers will now need a permit to use the parks for their classes. Valley View News reporter Camilla Rambaldi has more on the story.
No need to go to the gym. These people enjoy working out in a park to stay in shape.
You got the beach. It's like beach season year-round, so I think they're doing a great thing.
For years, Palisades Park has been the hot spot for trainers to conduct their fitness classes. Personal trainer Manny Velasquez is one of them. He has been using the space to train groups of 12 or more people for the past 7 years.
You go to most of the parks. Sometimes we go down to the old Muscle Beach. Sometimes come up here, do some running, do some stairs.
But Velasquez may not be able to use the public space for free anymore. In a recent 5-1 vote, City Council has proposed to require trainers to pay a permit fee in order to operate Santa Monica parks for fitness classes.
Commercial training was not regulated in any way. Trainers could come with weights of 100 pounds or more. They could come with ropes and tie them to furniture and equipment and that type of thing.
Ginsburg also says the classes have been leaving marks on the ground such as these. But some residents say the classes aren't causing any problems for them.
Look at it in a positive way. It's actually encouraging people who see people doing exercise that they might want to join in, and all the residents might want to join in as well.
The hopping up and down is like ruining the grass maybe, but besides that, grass is meant to be walked on.
Permit fees begin at $100 for all parks with a 15% annual revenue charge.
To 10 students, it's $3,600, and over 10, it's $5,400.
Velasquez says that if the proposed law follows through, he may have to find an alternative space for his fitness classes.
Trainers are already paying taxes on the fees they're charging for their clients. So now they have to pay for an additional permit on top of that, and I don't think that's very fair.
Palisades Park is a city landmark, and officials say they have estimated that just in the month of October 2012, more than 70 fitness classes were held. City Council also says trainers, even with one-on-one classes, will also need a permit to operate the parks. In Santa Monica, this is Camilla Rambaldi for Valley View News.
A Shanghai couple is facing charges after allegedly selling their babies for merchandise. The couple has sold 3 of their newborns to pay for iPhones, computers, and high-end shoes for a total of $13,000. The husband and wife face multiple charges of trafficking of women and children. Shanghai police began investigating the couple in May after receiving tips that they used a popular Chinese instant messaging system to place an ad to sell their newborn girl. They sold the first baby in 2008, the second in 2011, and the third this year. The husband is in custody and the wife has posted bail.
A drug that some people thought was a safe high is landing people in the hospital. The drug known as Molly is sold as a pure form of the main ingredient in ecstasy. The National Drug Abuse Warning Network says there's been a 120% increase in emergency room visits involving the drug. It is not a new substance, and that was used in the 70s and 80s for psychotherapy. But it's dangerous if it's combined with other chemicals. Molly is often sold in clear capsules filled with tiny white crystals and is popular at music festivals and nightclubs.
That does it for this episode of Valley View News. I'm Ryan Music.
And I'm Stephanie Marroquin. Have a great week.